What do you get when a special ed math teacher becomes an accidental porn star?
Hello, this is Jupiter's Slut, and I am in the greater Metro Washington, D.C. area today on this historic day where the House just officially declared inquiry into impeachment. I am feeling really, really fortunate to be here today and to be a woman talking about healthy boundaries for women. Because this is a great example, this being President Trump being held publicly accountable. That's a form of boundaries. It's not the healthiest. Um, it's not the healthiest example where everything's going smoothly and perfectly, but when in our lives does everything go smoothly or perfectly? So I want to talk about that as a way to bring compassion into our own experience of boundaries. When modeling of healthy boundaries is that the president is being considered for impeachment, not for all the things that he's done to women. He has, in fact, succeeded in getting people into positions of power who, like himself, have been really abusive of women's autonomy, right, dignity, freedom to not be sexually harassed. That's freedom of sexuality, freedom to say yes, freedom to say no. All of that, getting Brett Kavanaugh into a long-term position in the Supreme Court, all of that shows how badly we need healthy boundaries and can help be part of a compassionate story within ourselves of why it can be so hard as a woman to maintain healthy boundaries. We don't have, we literally don't have power structures that support that today. They are also more support structures today than there ever has been for women. More women have spoken up. So while we're not seeing the results we might want from women saying no, learning to say no is the first step in having healthy boundaries. And if that's not working perfectly for you in your life, guess what? You're really not alone. And that's not that it's like okay, as in it's okay for it to keep going forward, but as in it's okay, you're not a failure. It's okay, it ain't over yet. So, what we need to do is to be cultivating power structures within ourselves and outside ourselves that support healthy boundaries for women. Even structures that support healthy boundaries that aren't gendered, like the impeachment process, takes time. It takes a lot of time, even when the law is clear and the evidence is abundant, right? Once you kind of allow someone into your sphere who is a boundary breaker, drama and havoc ensue. So really learning to respect early warning signals and red flags when someone is disrespectful is a huge, huge part of having healthy boundaries. Is really keeping the drama out in the first place, right? But if the drama came in because the boundaries weren't what they needed to be, then it's the time to be adjusting them. And in regard to what we see outside of ourselves in politics, the thing to do is then kind of, it's consulting lawyers. And if the law isn't what we want it to be, it's consulting lawmakers to see if we can get a new bill on the table, right? These are huge social changes, and it can feel like a lot of work, because it is, and it's important work. And the more compassion that we can bring to ourselves, that this isn't work we're doing alone, this isn't work that we're guilty for, this is work that we inherited, right? The women who came before us did a ton of work and we have a lot to be grateful to them for. Asking for resources for how to go about making the next changes, not trying to do it alone, but saying, okay, what are the kinds of change that are going to be the most impactful, and where do I fit into that? That's the same kind of thing that happens on the inside. So when we realize that the boundaries that we have aren't sufficient, it's usually in the midst of drama. It's drama that makes us and alerts us, makes us aware, alerts us to the lack of healthy boundaries. And in the midst of drama, who has the energy or the clarity of thought to figure out how to have skills that you were never taught, skills that literally haven't existed in your social experience? If you already have those skills, you've probably already dealt with the situation, the drama's nipped in the butt, and this conversation is irrelevant to you. But we all have those places where we lack the skills we need. So what do? It's the same thing. You ask. You ask people who have skill sets that are relevant, that have experience that is relevant, and people whom you trust. It also doesn't have to be that you're just asking people. Whenever you hear stories of like things that made it all the way to the Supreme Court, there's always an element of serendipity in those stories. You can allow there to be an element of serendipity in your story too. Once you really started to ask, how can I have a healthier boundary and avoid this kind of drama in this area of my life or with these people? Once you really feel that question in your heart, watch what comes next. What's the next Oprah interview you hear? What's the next expert who shows up on NPR speaking about something relevant? What's the next song you hear on the radio? What's the next book that you inexplicably stumble across and want to read, right? Sometimes there's a serendipity to the next thought that comes along after we really get clear on what we want. And that thought can come from other people. Who knows who that next person is that you're going to sit next to on the bus, in church, at a new job, who's going to have the insight and perspective that you need to add to your skill set. There aren't a lot of places to go for a comprehensive course, so I'm hoping to be part of changing that. But for now, that seeking is really, really powerful, and not seeking alone, but seeking in a way that is supported, seeking in a way that's supported by your belief system and by the community. And it can be really a part of discovering a new community and bonding closer with the community that you have. So with that, I'm going to say, Happy Halloween! Happy start of the official public impeachment process. Happy healthy boundaries. And I am wishing you trust in your own process, in whatever boundaries you're setting in your life. All my love to you. Love exponentially. And I will see you next time.